Welcome to the Everyday is a New Day podcast and live show. The inspirational show about moving forward and choosing to be more of you. Transmuting the self-doubt and stepping into courageously aligned confidence in who you uniquely are. My name is Kim O'Neill. I'm a twice certified transformational confidence coach, Reiki master, best-selling author, and former crime analyst who now helps empathic, heart-centered individuals shatter the noise of self-doubt, find clarity on what self-love really looks like, and the courage to be peacefully grounded in who you've always known you are, from the inside out. Join me for the live shows on Facebook and YouTube, and visit KimO'NeillCoaching.com for more info. Let's get to it. All right. Woo! Welcome to the Everyday is a New Day show. My name is Kim O'Neill, and as always, I am excited, almost as excited as if I've never done this show before. Very excited to be here with you and share today's guest with you. And I will just really quickly acknowledge for anyone who is with us live, or of course on the replay, if you do acknowledge any sort of lag or delay, then I apologize. I am noticing that a little bit on my end today. So just want to quickly address that. But with that said, we have a really awesome guest and a fantastic story, which pretty much kind of brings me right back to why I even started the Everyday is a New Day show and podcasting in general back in 2015 when it was called something completely different. So I am really excited to be sharing with you today's guest. As always, go ahead and say hello in the chat, whether you're live with us on Facebook or on YouTube. And also if you're on the replay, you may be listening to this on iTunes or any of those podcast platforms. Feel free to let us know what you are taking away from this conversation and say hello. Let me know you were there. I love connecting with you. If you have any questions throughout today's conversation, let us know in the chat and we're happy to answer those for you. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up today's guest. Welcome to the show, Frankie Powers.
Hi, Kim. How you doing today? Great. I'm grateful, by the way. Just first, I want to thank you for having me on the show. I'm super excited, super stoked. When we met in April, I mean, your smile, I mean, really, it lights up the room, and it's great to be here, and I'm just grateful and appreciative of you having me on your show.
Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate that, and I really mean it when I say that. When I first met you, so this is being recorded in 2021, and Frankie and I, yes, met earlier this year. And when I first met him and heard his story, I mean, it was pretty much like, this is what the Everyday is a New Day show has been all about, bringing back. This is what I see, Frankie. This is what I see, and then we're actually going to tell people a little bit more about you too. So, but you have a very inspirational story about where you've been, what you went through, and where you are today. And you are bringing that to people through your new book. Congratulations. That was recently published. And I will just say for everyone, because we're kind of having some little tech stuff going on, I've asked Frankie to mute himself while we're trading off talking. So if you notice anything, that's what's going on, and you're doing awesome, Frankie. So yeah, I just, this is what it's all about. So Frankie, I'm going to go ahead and share with everyone a little bit of your background, your bio, and then would love for you to share more with everyone. So for all those who are just getting to meet Frankie M. Powers for the very first time, he is an empowerment coach, motivational speaker, songwriter, and the author of From Rock Bottom to Mountain Tops. He spent most of his life rooted in anger, resentment, and as a victim of his circumstances, until he hit rock bottom and said no more, deciding to be the victor of his life. As he awakens to the essence of who he was, he found his purpose and committed to all of himself to becoming the man that he is today. And there's a quote that speaks directly to who Frankie is, and I'm going to go ahead and share that, Frankie, because it's an awesome one. Frankie shared this quote with us: "Don't go where the path may lead, go where there is no path and leave a trail." Frankie, again, welcome. And will you share with everyone a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kim, for having me. So I'm an empowerment coach, author, a songwriter, and a motivational speaker. And this is a new journey for me. For most of my life, for over 20 years, I was a property manager, and I made up stories in my life about I was a victim. I blamed everyone around me for my circumstances, for why I blamed my dad, I blamed my mom, I blamed my ex-wife, I blamed my friends, I blamed everyone around me why my life didn't turn out the way that I thought it was supposed to. And I was a 448-pound raging alcoholic, ticking time bomb with a 9mm in my hand, ready to take my own life. And I went to some really dark places. My psychiatrist, to go into my divorce, my psychiatrist died, and my therapist went to prison. So I was really drinking round the clock, 24 hours a day. I mean, not 24. Whenever I slept, it was because I passed out. And I'd wake up every morning and I'd serve myself a drink. Or if it was still the same the night, the previous day or the previous evening, I was drinking around the clock. I couldn't stop. And then ultimately I hit rock bottom, entered a rehab center at the Hanley Rehabilitation Center a day before my 43rd birthday. And I went in there drunk, but I knew that I was going to come out a different man. And as I got out of the rehab center, I started going to AA meetings, and there was this feeling of almost like people there that, like death, like people were just struggling to survive. And I knew that we weren't born to survive. We were born to thrive. So I started taking different courses, and I did the Landmark Forum, a self-development workshop, and I started learning about the stories that we tell ourselves and how the interpretations and assumptions that we make and limited beliefs. And week after that, all of a sudden I'm in Tony Robbins' event in New Jersey that my mentor and best friend recommended, and I'm here looking at this larger than life man. And I'm walking on 1,000-degree burning hot coals barefoot, walking on fire. And literally, it wasn't that fire. That weekend, something spurned in me, and it literally lit my life on fire. And I realized that my purpose for living, like, we're all born throughout all of human history. No one's ever had the same fingerprint. We're all born with certain unique traits, and it is our job, not our job, our destiny to find out what it is that drives us, that gives us purpose, and in there what you're passionate about, and you go there, and that's where you find fulfillment in life. 98% of people don't follow their dreams. Most of it is because of fear. And but if you follow your why, your reason, the how will appear. Get out of your fear, come from a place of love, and light your life on fire.
I love that, Frankie. So a few questions came up there. Before you went into rehab, how long were you in this period of drinking yourself till you just pass out and being in that space? And then I'll go ahead and throw my second question. So how long were you in that space for? And then, what was the turning point that told you just go to the rehab center, even though I'm still drunk, just go now, go today?
Okay, so my first drink, September 13th, 1991, Friday the 13th at an open house party. And again, it was my coping method. And I didn't stop. I mean, I would drink during the weekends for a while. And then when I got married, I think around that time I started drinking every day. I was miserable. I was not in love with my wife. First time we were intimate, she got pregnant, and I thought I needed to marry her, and I'm glad I did. And because I have a son too, but I was a horrible human being. I was a horrible husband. I neglected her constantly. I cheated on her every single day with alcohol, with politics, with food. We were roommates, and not even that, because most of the time I'd sleep on the couch. And I was really, I hurt her deeply. But I needed to go through all those things, and we all do. Like, look, let me just share this, and we all need to go through. And I don't kind of went away from your question. I'm going to go back, but we all need to realize that everything in life is that life is happening, like Tony Robbins likes to say, happening for us, not to us. And we constantly are like, well, if this wouldn't have happened, or live in regret, or in the past, and the truth is everything happens for a reason. No matter how bad your situation is, look for the lesson. Look for the lesson. There's always a silver lining. There's always room to grow and to learn. So when I got married, that's really when my drinking like spiked, and it did so until I walked into rehab. And the turning point for me was ultimately the reason why that's driven me to be where I am today. Really is my love of my children. I relapsed, and with my children, my ex-wife had to drive 3 hours to Captiva while we were on vacation to pick them up, and she said, "You're not having them, and they're not spending any time with you." And you know what? Like, again, here I can go and I can say, oh, all these things about her, and oh, look at what she's done. That fueled me. My love for my children fueled me to say, I can't anymore. And I called my children on August 24th, 2018. The day before my birthday, actually, I went to rehab. My friends were telling me, hey, why don't you go on Monday, man? I'm like, hey, listen, the quicker I get in, the quicker I get out. So my children, I called them the morning of August 24th, and I was drunk. It was 7-something in the morning. And I called them and I said, listen, I don't know what's going to happen, guys, but I want you to know that Dad is going to come back better than ever. And I didn't know what that meant, but I knew something was going to change and change. And there's a quote, I don't remember whose quote it is, that resonates with me right now as I say this. When the pain of remaining the same is greater than the pain of change, you will change. And that's what happened for me.
That, I love that quote too. That is and I hope I pronounced this correctly, that is an Anais Nin quote. Yes, or a variation of it. I know it's the one. It's the one about like when it's, oh, I'm totally going to botch this. Anyway, you basically summed it up. It's something, the one I know is like when the pain of not blossoming is greater than the pain of blossoming, or something like that. Anyway, yes, finally getting to that rock bottom point. That's what you're talking about. Awesome. Oh my goodness.
And let me just share for everybody. I mean, from the book is From Rock Bottom to Mountaintops, but you get things, life hits you and things happen. And then, you get knocked down off that mountain a little bit. And then, you kind of got to climb back up and then you fall back down again. I mean, look, life happens. It's just getting the tools and acquiring the lessons and tools in order to better navigate, to work your way back up. You never fall all the way down like you did, because now you learn from it. And again, everything that is going on in your life, and this I share to the audience, whoever's watching, by the way, thank you for watching. Whatever is going on in life, it's hard. I know it's hard. And I understand, but look for the lesson. What can you learn from whatever it is that you're going through? Because there's something to be learned. I guarantee you there's something to be learned.
Absolutely. And that was the point I was going to get to as well, is that I don't think you don't really have that rock bottom moment until the learning takes place. It's like you can fall and fall deeper and fall deeper and fall deeper and keep doing it over and over and over until the learning takes place. And then it's like, oh, enough is enough. Like this is my breaking point. I'm not willing to tolerate this any longer. I'm not willing to do this to myself any longer. I'm not willing to, whatever it may be. And so definitely sounds like you got to that space, clearly.
Yeah. And let me share something, because the last time when we spoke, we met, I think it was April 4th. And on May 5th, I had finished my book, or so I thought. And on May 6th, I was with my counselor. We're having a conversation, and she tells me some more along the line, said, Frank, what particular pattern of behavior have you exhibited in the deterioration of the relationships that have suffered, or that have caused, that have been harmed or damaged? And immediately it hit me. My whole life, I've been seeking love, and I've been desiring love, and I've been wanting love. But there's a difference between being passionate and being intense. There's a difference between being adventurous and being impulsive. There's a difference between being powerful and being forceful. And what happened was every time I feared, and this is really important, whoever's watching, whenever you're doing something or whenever you have a difficult decision, are you doing it from a place of fear or are you doing it from a place of love? Because that's a game changer right there. So what I realized is in fear of losing, like on love or on relationships, when I wanted to pull people closer to me, my intensity would push them further away. Instead of being powerful, I was being forceful. Instead of being adventurous, I was impulsive. And I wrote a bonus chapter for my book based on that realization. And in there, actually, the bonus chapter, I talk about this realization, and I talk about how one of the love of my life, who I pushed her away through this intensity, through this impulsivity, and through this forcefulness. It wasn't with physically being aggressive, if you will, but it was my tone, my body language, the way it came across. So, I said a lot there, Kim.
Frankie, what I love is your transparency, your vulnerability, your authenticity. It is not only makes this conversation and all conversations you have that much more richer, but you're helping people in massive ways right now. I just know it. So, okay, I want to get back to something you just said, but I also really want to say hello to our live viewers. So I just want to give a quick shout out again we have the Love Flow who is with us over on YouTube. Hello to you. So good to see you. They are excited to hear from Frankie, already acknowledging how awesome you are. And hello to Helene, who is also with us today. And looks like we have some other people. So awesome to have you here. And Helene is saying, I believe in these words. Life is happening for us, mostly now today. Absolutely. Yes, yes. And Frankie, so what I want to get back to, you just said something so good. I don't know if we've ever really, if I've ever talked about this here in a conversation on the show with someone, and just that dichotomy of there being a difference between, well, I know this has come up, the difference of being powerful versus forceful. Absolutely. We've spoken about that. But you also were talking about, and correct me if I got it off, but you were saying like the difference between passionate and intensity. I think those were the two. And how when you were most desiring to connect with people and bring them to you or just build that bridge between you two, you actually were, it sounds like you were repelling them, or it just we're doing the opposite, basically. Will you say more about that?
Well, yeah, it was operating really from a place of fear of loss, and fear of loss. I was repelling them. My intensity, the passion would turn to intensity, and then there would cause fear, and people would be afraid, even though there was nothing really. Well, I know that there was nothing for them to be afraid of, but they did it. See, I don't have to physically harm someone for them to feel that fear that I may hurt them. And I'll tell you this immediately, like I was in really dark places. There were certain moments that it was really dark, and it was really operating from fear and not trust. And on that end, I went on recently, right after a few weeks after our show where we met, I went on a discovery for the first time. I just got in the car and just drove. I didn't know where I was driving. And I just needed some time for me in solace and really to hear the whispers of God, talking to me. And in there, the word that kept coming up for me was the word trust. So I tattooed the word trust. I'm a big man of God. Yeah, on my wrist right there. I'm not a tattoo guy, but I've always had strong faith, or at least I've claimed. But faith without trust means nothing. I mean, faith plus trust equals belief. And in that tour and in my discoveries, like I needed to go to these dark places. Like my counselor hit me with, gave me that question, and it just really, everything changed. And it's not like now I'm not trying to not be intense. I'm just not, because I realized I don't even know how to explain it. I'm being, and I thought I was afraid, by the way, because I'm such a passionate person. I thought I lost that passion, and it's not. It's just I love people, and now I don't push them away. I'm just, and it's helping me in my relationships. It's actually, people are seeing that and feeling that, and it's a blessing. I mean, again, like these things, these lessons were really, God, they've been blessings. So.
Oh, okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong. You were talking about you're not quite sure what what changed, or I mean, you've already described it all. But here are just some additional ways that I am receiving your message, and let me know if this resonates with you. So you're not repelling people because you're not seeking the love outside of you. You now have it within you, and you're receiving it from that source, from God, that is unlimited. Whereas we as people, we kind of like have our own limitations and boundaries and just things that, we got to deal with ourselves. Right. So it's different when we're like seeking something from someone else versus filling ourselves up first from an infinite source that is always there for us. And there are different ways to describe that. I tend to talk about that as self-love or the universe, God, whatever it may be. But that's what I hear being the primary difference, is you've made that shift because you trust and you know that you are always loved. And do you want to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty great. I mean, I stopped attachments. I had attachments to outcomes, attachments to relationships, attachments to I need this person in my life instead of I want. And if the person comes, or if the relationship is what it, it's not what I hoped it would be, well, you know what, that's okay. There's a difference between, like what happens often is that we feel like we don't need anyone. We have everything that we have inside of us, and we have to get to a place where we choose that we want this person, or we want this person. And if people don't like what we're doing, no matter if there's family, no matter lifelong friendships, then you can still love them. You can love them from a distance. Like the right people will come in your life. And let me share this real quick. Tuesday, this just 2 days ago, was my book launch party, which was, oh my God, it was freaking phenomenal. And it was, I'm so humbled, and I felt so much love and so much gratitude. But in that day, I realized something in that moment as I was doing one of my speeches, and I was sharing, and I looked at the people around me, and there were some people in my that I wish were there that weren't. And it was, God doesn't always give you, this is how I felt, everything that you want, but He gives you everything that you need. And I looked around me, and there was so many people that getting emotional, that loved me, that were there for me. I mean, just for me. And just so humbling. And I went a little off. I do that sometimes, but real, raw, and vulnerable is my motto. And this is me. I don't know how to be any other way. I live from the core of my heart. And some people may say, and this is, I think, is important to share. Some people might say, well, then you allow yourself to be broken, your heart to get broken. And you know what? Yeah, maybe. But I also learned how to live fully, because if you don't live from here, then you're not grasping in life. You're not taking in life. So I choose to live from right here and to love everybody, because if not, then I'm limiting my life, and there's no limits to life.
Very well said, Frankie. And I think it's beautiful. You don't need to change at all. And again, I'm hoping to articulate this well. What I want to say is, back when you were talking about thinking you need something or love from another person, or just anything from another person, when we are reliant on getting that thing from another person, that's where the potential for also being let down and hurt is. Versus if we are tuning in and aligning and receiving and trusting that love never, ever will be taken away, and that is our source, then it's a different kind of experience when a person lets us down in some sort of way. I'm not trying to say that we can't feel the hurt or can't feel disappointed or anything like that, but it's a different experience altogether. So to me, that is the shift. And I see that our world is in the process of making that shift right now, of rather than trying to get from other people, More so, wait a second, you be true to you and your own alignment, and then we can play together in a healthy attachment way. Attachment may not even be the right word, but we just then can, interact in a healthy way together. And that's I think, a whole new experience that we are in the process of awakening to. So I absolutely love that you brought that into today's conversation. Thank you, Frankie. We're practically near the end of our show already, and we haven't even gotten to other things I want to talk about. So, Frankie, that was beautiful. You don't need to change anything.
I just want to chime in. First of all, I love that you said play, because I'm all about playing. Like I post every Friday, Fun Fridays, and we think that playing is for children. No, the child. By the way, everyone whoever's watching, the child in you is always there. It's always ready to play. You're just like, we get programmed like, well, no, that's only for kids. No, you know what? No, get on a swing, play in the fountain, climb a tree. I mean, I climb trees all the time. I went recently. I was in Puerto Rico and I was running around in the fountains, and people are looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, squeeze the zest out of life. Life is great. If you choose it to be. So I needed to say that, because I was just taking up space for so many years, and that's not living. And I see so many people that are just going day after day, and they're just, time is just ticking. Don't sit back, set some time for yourself. What do you love? What do you really drives you? Go there, find it, grab it, do something with it. Light your life on fire. Live life, no matter what you're going through. You're worthy of it. You matter. You're worth it. So.
Oh, that was fun. Okay. Okay, so I'll recap. I just wanted to elaborate and add an alternative perspective too. I completely get what you're saying when you use the phrase taking up space. Totally get it. And I want to also say that you are also cultivating all of those lessons and experiences and stories that you now have to pull from, that are part of your message and your book and everything you do forward now. So everything is useful. And of course, the sooner we all get to learning some of those lessons, then, the quicker we can have more fun with it. But so I do want to go ahead and remind everyone that this year, our theme is Let Your Light Shine. Let your light shine. If you have not yet heard about the movement or joined the movement yourself, then I invite you to check it out and to join. It is free and easy. You can go to the bit.ly link that is on the screen, which is bit.ly/Let Your Light Shine movement. And it's simply all about inspiring and empowering you and everyone around you to be more of your authentic self, to believe in yourself. You shine as you are right now, who you are. And when you shine, our world shines that much brighter. And yes, I personally just would love to see more and more people acknowledging that and saying, yeah, Kim, you know what? I do. And I'm not going to hide my light under a bushel. I'm not going to pretend that I don't shine, that I don't matter, that I'm not allowed to feel confident. There's a difference between being confident and being arrogant. And so anyway, that's the movement there. And you can check that out with the link on the screen. But now I want to share, because I asked Frankie, what does let your light shine mean to you? And he said, what unique gifts has God graced you with? Shine your lamp onto the world. And Frankie, I love that. Would you like to elaborate or share any additional thoughts on that quote?
Well, it was, kind of something what I mentioned earlier. It's about really finding what is it that those gifts that are uniquely yours, and that you have, that just like that all of a sudden when you think of, like, it brings a smile to your face. And generally what happens is, we have all these dreams as children, and then somebody tells us, oh no, there's no money in that, or oh, this is not going to work for you. Like, we have to find, what is it that really that's your light. That's the part that makes you glow, that makes you smile. Find that find that place, and then there's your purpose, and follow that, and that there's really is freedom. And there you're following your heart, what you love to do. That's what I get from that.
I love it. And I'll just want to also add, no two lights are the same. No two lights are the same. And that's why yours, there's always a space for yours. So I also asked Frankie, do you have an empowering quote that you would like to share with today's audience? And he shared, God doesn't put a Goliath in front of you if he didn't see a David inside of you. I love that quote. Frankie, would you like to elaborate on that one?
I mean, that kind of speaks for itself, and the stuff that we've been talking about, that, listen, whatever you've been dealt with, again, there's a silver lining. Like, God knows what he's doing, and figure, find what is it? Well, where's the lesson? It's all about finding the lesson, growing from there, and then, moving forward, and always remembering, you remember what happened to you, but you learn also what came out of it. So we have everything that we need, inside of us, and no matter what hurts and hardships you're going through, like, there is going to be a brighter tomorrow. I promise you, I guarantee you.
And I've said this so many times, but I want to say it again now, is that if you're in that space of I've been going through this, whatever it may be, challenge, adversity, hell, whatever it may feel like, I've been going through this for a really long time, and I'm tired of it. And you're waiting, you're looking, you're trying to figure out, what is this teaching me? This sounds so simple and makes a massive difference. I have found multiple times that if you find that you're in that space of waiting for the answer, literally ask, what is this here to teach me? What is the lesson here? What is the gift in this adversity? What comes next? Ask, whether it simply be with your silently inside your head, or maybe out loud. You can say it when no one's around. But when you literally ask the question versus being in the space of just waiting, like, you open a whole doorway of insights and information and answers. So I just want to share that for anybody who that could be something useful for them in this moment. So okay, I want to take a quick look at our comments again. We are nearing the end of today's show, and Helene has added so many comments into the chat. Thank you, Helene. You're just so wonderful. So many comments here. I don't think I can put them all up on the screen, but I see this last one here. She says, be thankful and you will receive what you are seeking. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gratitude is a fantastic way to be in the space of receiving. Absolutely. Okay, so Frankie, two more things we got to do. Frankie, okay, so again, congratulations on your new book. I'm going to put that up on the screen again. Will you tell everyone where they can go to get your book, and anything else you'd like to share with them about the book? Go ahead.
So the book right now, this is a special edition. It's only going to be available through the end of the week, through Sunday. And which has basically it's a bonus chapter, and you can get it on FrankieMpowers.com. That's Frankie with FRANKIE Mpowers.com. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thank you, Kim. And then it's going to be on Amazon. The release date on Amazon is July 27th. And really, I take you on a journey. I did my own audiobook as well, and it's included. There's no extra charge. There's a QR code in the back of the book where you just go on there, and I take you on my journey. I mean, you hear my voice, and then you'll see the emotion come out of it when I'm my first memory at 2, and then when my grandfather died at 10, and I take you on the journey and the roller coaster ride, and it was bumpy, and you're going to see me at rock bottom, and then you're going to see me reach the mountaintop, and again, it's really. I wrote the book not for me. I wrote it. I mean, I never thought I'd be an author. I mean, I failed college English, I don't know how many times. I took remedial, like I couldn't write a paragraph. So this was never, ever, ever on my list of things to do until my best friend and mentor kind of said, hey, listen, you got a hell of a life there, like a hell of a story to tell. And it's true. And it was what an emotional journey, but it was all worth it. And I wrote it not for me. I wrote it for others so that they don't go through the hardships that I went through. And I recorded a song too. I mean, these are just insane how my life has taken off. That's
That's right. I want to hear your song, Frankie. Yeah, go ahead.
If you go on YouTube and I just and here's like a link, I gave these out at the party where you can, the QR code. It's called Crazy Local Love. But if you go to YouTube, Frankie M Powers, Crazy Local Love, you can hear the song, and it's all about, again, that's my other logo. That I create everything that I in this journey. Everything that I realized, what I learned about life is that it's about giving. We get taught that life, and this we're taught in Western civilization, is accumulating things, and it's really not. I mean, what do you take with you when you're gone? What's your legacy? It's not about accumulating things. It's about accumulating moments, accumulating memories, and the most selfish thing that you can do in life really is to be selfless. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, giving unto others what you get in return is so much more. So this is me just trying to shine my lamp, and my light onto the world as best that I can, using the gifts that God gave me. Well,
Frankie, I was going to ask you if you wanted to sing on today's show. I'm just going to let you answer that. Would you like to sing on today's show?
Well, I don't have the I mean, you can play the song from Rock Bottom Mountaintops.
Okay, Okay. That's enough putting you on the spot. I don't typically like to do that. Okay. So that is awesome. I will definitely check that out on YouTube. And
you know what? My I'm sorry, Kim, let me just say this. My motto is real, raw, and vulnerable. And I'll just tell you the truth. I don't know my own song yet. I don't, this is just the truth. Like I'm going to be real, raw, and vulnerable. I recorded, I didn't know, I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I wrote, my friends like, come over here, fly to Puerto Rico with a Grammy winner, Oscar Serrano they were in Grupo Mania. They won a Grammy or an award. And I'm like, is this really going to happen? He's going to record this for me. And he said, yeah, just hurry up and fly over here. So I wrote the song based on spreading crazy local love, faith, fe, esperanza, and amor, which is faith, hope, and love. I inspired really from the book and my hardships. And it's really inspirational hip hop, but I don't know all the words. That's the truth.
It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Thank you for sharing with us. And I think it's awesome that you shared that extra info, because, oh my gosh, it sounds like a really well-produced song. And just to reaffirm for everyone, so yes, Frankie wrote the song and he sings this song, which I think is awesome. So we will have to go to your YouTube to check that out for sure. And okay, we are nearing the end of our conversation. We're not quite there yet. I do want to remind everyone, yes, you can get Frankie's book, From Rock Bottom to Mountaintops, by going to frankiempowers.com. And Frankie is IE. Frankie M as in Mary, powers.com. Okay. And so now we're at the end of our conversation where, Frankie, one of the things I love to do is I love to pull a card from one of my many decks just for fun to add an extra message for the show. And so in a moment here, I would love for you to join me in that. We are going to pull an angel card from Keith Leon S's Walking with Your Angels deck, a daily inspiration deck. And I pull from this one often, especially on Mondays, Inspirational Message Mondays, which I do every Monday. And this is the beautiful, gorgeous artwork on the back of the cards. So let me just do some light shuffling, and then I'll tell you when to go ahead and say stop when it feels right for you. Okay, let me move my mic. Okay, Frankie, whenever you are ready, feel free to go ahead and say stop, and I'll pull the card that's on top.
Stop.
Okay, so I love when this happens. It's easy. It's this one right here. There's one right here in my hand. So we have Archangel Azrael. I'll show it on screen first. That's the artwork. And the message says, soul growth comes in many forms. Call my name for assistance in working through life lessons, through healing the pain of self-judgment, anger, guilt, and regret. I will help you find the light when things seem dark. I will stand by your side while you develop your spiritual practice and give you visions of all the good available to you. And this just always happens. The message is always spot on. So, Frankie, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share about this card?
Well, no, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And all I want to, one thing that I want to share is like in this transformation process. I mean, because you said a word there, in the reading, my emotional home used to be anger. Like that's where I was. So that was my safe place. I was just angry at everyone. And now my emotional home is joy. It's joy. I really, I mean, things happen to me, and maybe it's just for a little bit, but overall, I'm living my best life. I mean, so you can too.
That is wonderful. Thank you, Frankie. And I see that the Love Flow, who's with us on YouTube right now, is acknowledging that there is a link for the song. I will just say that I don't see it here on my end yet. So thank you for that. I'll definitely have to check that out later. I don't know why it's not showing up on my end. But thank you so much. You guys are awesome for that. So that is our show today. Frankie, do you have any final thoughts before we officially wrap up?
No, I just wanted to tell everyone who's watching, thank you so much for taking the time and being on the show, and thank you, Kim, for having me. Check me out, if I could be of service to you, FrankieMpowers.com, and buy the book. I mean, it's really it's really a great story of overcoming and the comeback at its best, and realizing, seeing somebody who got knocked down, myself, and how I elevated my life so that you can too. So thank you, Kim.
Absolutely. Thank you, Frankie. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. And yes, thank you to everyone who was with us, whether you were with us live or on the replay. It was awesome having you here. Thank you for contributing to the conversation. As always, let us know what you're taking away from today's show. And if you found value in this, then if you could give it a thumbs up or a like or whatever it may be, wherever you're listening, that would be awesome. And share it with someone you know who may be struggling right now, because that can be a beautiful gift for them as well. Thank you again for being here, Frankie. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Have an amazing day, everybody. Remember that wherever you are today, it does not have to be where you are tomorrow. Every day truly is a new day. We talked about so many things that are useful in getting to that new day experience. And I want to bring it right back to choice and learning. Those are really wonderful, ripe spaces to tap into, to remember that, wait a second, what is does not have to be and remain. And yet it can still be a gift for you moving forward. Have an amazing day, everybody. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.